Ok, here we are. Salve a tutti, ben arrivati e buonasera a tutti quanti. Ok, c'è un piccolo problema tecnico, ma lo risolvo immediatamente. Non potete vedere e sentire Ubiball per il momento, ma lo risolviamo immediatamente. Nel frattempo, thanks Gavriel for being here. It's a pleasure to have you tonight, and I just have to resolve some graphical issues, very simple, and we'll be ready. Just
Okay.
a few seconds. Ben arrivati, welcome to everybody. No, Weeble, sono io che ho dimenticato una cosa. So we are gonna fix it right now. Meanwhile, we should have... Oh, here we are.
E finalmente arrivò Ubiball.
Exactly. Here we are, now you are also in position. Thank you very much for being here, Gabriel. Thank you, Ubiball. Grazie a tutti.
Grazie, ragazzi. Thank you guys for the invitation.
Thank you to Gabriel. It's again an honor for us to have you here. And
the honor is all mine.
Oh, and it's real pleasure to have you here with us this evening. And I introduce you as our guest tonight. And I'd like you to ask you a few questions just to start our talk, asking you exactly who is Gavriel Quiroga, what do you do and in our community, and what have you done since now?
Okay, I am a game designer, a creator. I published 3 RPGs so far: Neurocity, Warpland, and Hell Knight. And I also made card games, and I'm also a musician and a writer.
Oh, amazing. Didn't know this. My bad.
Me too. I divided these things with my partner in crime, Eric.
Absolutely.
Okay, and now it's my turn, I think. Okay. Let's talk about your last game, Gabriel. Hell Knight. Personally, I love this game. I absolutely love this game. So I'm very curious to ask you how it's born, how you came up with this interesting and very crazy and amazing idea.
Great. Yes, Hell Knight is I labeled it as a Doom Biker RPG. When I design a game, I try to make something that is different, or at least proposes a different or an original experience. So the designing of the concept itself usually takes me quite a long time. Mm-hmm. Usually, while I'm writing a game, in this case it was Warpland, I start working on the concept, on the development of another setting. So I thought that it would be really cool to make a game that inspired in horror B-movies from the 80s. And I thought that the theme of playing the bad guy, but doing something that is good for the universe, sounded interesting. So that's how Hell Knight came to be. So people understand Hell Knight is basically Lucifer, Satan, is missing from hell. So all hell is in a state of chaos. And the different archons that rule the different circles in hell start to escape to Earth in the 80s. So the heavens send a herald, an angelic herald, an angel, that gives them an ultimatum that states that if they don't bring back the missing archons and organize hell and bring back order to hell, they will make war against hell. So basically, the players need to be demons hunting archons on Earth, on bikes, on demonic bikes, of course.
These things that you say to me, it's very interesting because the feels that you indicated as inspirational for this game is common even to me, because I think that we have the same age. So I saw in that picture, and first of all, congratulations for the pictures, because the illustration of the book, it's fantastic. It's very 80s. And I saw B movies, horror B movies like Vampire Bikers, film movies from Trauma. So there is a lot of these feels that make this game, even from the first approach, very impressive. Very impressive. So I'm very. I really want to try to play this game because this lore is very accostant with my youthness. So I think that it could be great. I feel even some more Lobo comics sounds.
Yes,
Okay,
Lobo, of course.
yeah, and I love it very much because it was one of my favorite comics.
Yes, Lobo is one of my favorite comics also. I like it very much. I have a small collection of Lobo.
Oh, wonderful.
But yes, I think that it's very cool to find a theme that everybody can identify very rapidly. So if you can manage to write the setting correctly with nice premises and give the visual aspects and nail it with the visual aspects, you pretty much have a setting going on, and everybody can understand it, and a group can play it and understand what it is about without actually reading the whole book. So I think that that's great. It's great that I could find something that has not been done before. I think that the closest comparison with that theme or setting, maybe some things from World of Darkness, maybe, but it does not have the over the top feel. Does not feel 80s. That feels very 90s and is more gothic. Hell Knight is very over the top. It makes fun of itself. It constantly breaks the fourth wall when you play. There are many things that I don't know. For example, there is a mechanic that you can get willpower. Some characters can get willpower if they make the director laugh. So that's that sort of thing. I think that it was very interesting to play.
It is amazing. I remember when you launched the Kickstarter, one of the things that struck me first was the trailer that you made, that it was absolutely something with a very strong grindhouse feel, and
Yes.
it was amazing. I also the woman, the speaker of the trailer was
She was great.
she was
Amazing,
absolutely great. I really found it genuine. It seemed something from the 80s. Also remind me of Grindhouse, the collection from Quentin Tarantino,
Tarantino, yes.
And it was really amazing. When I saw it, I immediately contacted you because I made a podcast episode when I was making the podcast in those days because I really needed to know what it was about it. And
yes, the theme is really good. It's really great for. I know I like to GM by improvising, no. So
yes.
I think that it's very suited for GMs that want to play a session, players that want to play a session, and they don't have much time for homework. Because it does not take itself very seriously, and you have so many movies that can serve as inspiration that you can play the game and you get a narrative going on pretty fast using also the lots of tables in the book. The book is filled with random tables and it works pretty much like a plot generator of ideas, a seed generator. So I think that it's a great game to play.
It is amazing. I want to just thank you very much for your generosity, because Gavriel just gave us the opportunity to give some copies of his games to those who are seeing who are live now. So I'll explain also in Italian. Ragazzi, sappiate che Gavriel è stato così generoso da darci la possibilità di regalarvi delle copie dei suoi manuali, quindi vi è sufficiente digitare punto esclamativo giveaway per entrare nel giveaway e vincere il PDF dei giochi di Gavriel. Quindi cosa state aspettando? Faremo l'estrazione poco prima della fine della live, quindi siete pronti se volete farlo. Ne avremo 10 vincitori, quindi per voi. Thank you again, Gabriel. This is very generous from you.
Muchas gracias.
No, grazie a te. Grazie thank you for the interest.
So, we were talking about Hell Knight, that I think it's really, really a cool and amazing idea. And I'd like you also ask you about your influences, the influences of your games. In particular, I find not only in Hell Knight, but also in Warpland and in Neuro City, that there is a strong 80s, 90s vibes in your games. Am I right?
Yes, of course. I think most of them, they are like retro.
Yes, absolutely.
Neurocity and Warpland. Bueno, Neurocity is like noir 70s French cinema. It's the main inspiration was Alphaville from Godard.
Oh, amazing!
Wonderful.
Yes,
wonderful.
Yes, and well, Warpland, I think that the main inspiration was Philippe Drulet. He's a comic yes. French comic illustrator, and also the heavy metal, all the heavy metal comics. And yeah, for sure, I think that those decades have a spirit on their own, and I like very much to like take that spirit and infuse my work with it.
Absolutely. And so there is a particular reasons or just your love or for the period of time?
Well, if you see, I am mentioning something from the 70s, something from the maybe 80s. My next work will be more 90s oriented. I think that every decade has its own thing and its own value. I am particularly interested in all forms of art. I like when you can see the art comes from a human hand. Mm-hmm. So I enjoy traditional artists very much. So that's why I try to work with them. For Hell Knight, I worked particularly with DIY do-it-yourself artist. That works a lot with collage, and he also does his own drawings. And he's also a skater. He's here a very known skater. And I think that it's very important for me to try to show something that does not look so digital, so perfect. I like imperfections. I like that when people can read my books, they can see the way it was done, and they can see the imperfections and all the mistakes. You can see how it adds for the richness and the character of the work itself. I always emphasize that aspect of my work, not only with my books, also with my music. When I used to work as a musician, my albums did not have any post-production process in it. It was all live, recorded. So for me, it's a big thing to show things the way they are created in that moment of inspiration without no post work on it. That I think that in the end, maybe it makes things more perfect, but dilutes a bit the authenticity of a work itself. That's at least my position on it. And I think that seeing now that AI is coming forward, I think that that position is more clearly understood than ever, at least from my part.
Amazing. This is absolutely interesting, and I really like your form of inspiration, and I really love your games.
Well, thank you, Eric. Thank you. I think that there, I like it very much that all the people that like my work, it's people that I can talk with them and I can connect, and it's people that I will be very happy to have a beer with, and they all, I think that we all share a common interest and a common passion, and I think that that replicates a lot, and it creates like ripples, because we all like feed each other and try to grow each other with, help each other in such a way to understand better the reality we live in.
Okay, now it's my turn, Gabriel. On your website, we can find that you have an open license. Eh, You
Yes.
know that in this period, it's very important topic in the tabletop roleplay games world. Would you like to tell us what you think about, what is happening to the big ones? What is your position? Or the hobby actual scene in general, what you think about the situation that you find, the business, the market where you are.
Yeah, I think that there are many. We have many role-playing systems. They are very good. They're very specialized and very good in doing their own thing. I think that it would be a pity just centralizing or being maybe obsessed or stuck with only just one system. There are many people in our community that only know D&D and they have never moved from that comfort zone. I think that, at least for me, as an artist, moving away from my comfort zone is like something that I need to do constantly. So luckily, from my place, I every Friday we organize a game, and probably every Friday somebody from that does not play RPGs comes, and they end up loving it, and that is why my games and the systems I propose are very light. They're very easy to understand, so the entry to play in a role-playing game is not difficult at all. Anybody can understand it. And I think that is not the case of D&D. I think that in order to play in D&D, you have a learning curve that is a bit too big for my taste. I think that playing those complicated systems take too much effort, too much cognitive effort and time away from what is the specific role-playing experience. So for me, role-playing games are specifically about role-playing. So any system should like fade away and give space for the role-playing. You should not be making mathematics or consulting a book to know how your character should react or do, or what can he do. I think that at least from my perspective, the road or the way should be different. And I think that perspective is shared with other OSR creators as well. So my opinion is that hopefully the community will open up to experience other systems, and that is good and is better and more rich for everybody.
This is a very good reply that you gave us. I appreciate it very, very lot about it
Yes.
because uh, you are not the first position that we heard in a strange ball about more simple and ethic position by the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, 1 week ago, we had Mr. Mark Miller, the author of Traveler, that say
Mm-hmm.
one thing that it's quite similar to your in some point. It was they have to think that they have not just to sell books and
Mm-hmm.
some in maybe you give a reply a little bit different because you said don't stay over there just counting what is the point to place in the sheet of my the paper of my warrior or cleric or something else, but just to see uh, what is a creation of a game, what is the purpose, what you want to transmit, what you want to say to the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this thing is going disappearing in this period where everything is eaten, is destroyed by the worldwide selling at any cost, not just only monetary cost, but cost of creation, of developing a project or developing an idea. So this is a
Mm-hmm.
position that is not I think that is not so good for the entire business at the end, not only for them but for all, even because it kills a little bit of the fantasy and the creation process.
I think that, yeah, it definitely. I think that it reaches a moment that it stops being art and it starts becoming specifically a product to be sold. And I think that there is a big gap between what those big companies do and what independent creators do. And I think that there is a appreciation for that difference. So in the end, it's like with any industry, like music, for example, you have people that maybe listen, I don't know, to Lady Gaga, and people
Mhm,
that listen to the local band, and
mhm,
they want to see something that it's maybe original or appeals them in
mhm,
a more profound way. For me specifically, I really I don't know. I'm a fan of comics, for example, and maybe at the beginning comics were seen as something not worthwhile of academic attention or
mhm,
not or not or maybe trivial or banal or not that important. But then creators like Alan Moore or
mhm,
Neil Gaiman,
mhm,
they showed us that comic could stand as an art form themselves.
mhm.
So I think that we are reaching that point that we are starting to understand that an RPG book can also be a form of art, and it can work as art works,
Mhm.
and has that and have that impact on somebody in that way.
I absolutely agree with you,
Yeah.
and I'd like also to highlight a comment from Khalid Gaming that says, "Going back to advanced D&D now is a nightmare. I tried some years ago, and despite I loved the system when I was younger, after all modern system, all that crunch was useless hard." Okay, yeah, I kind of agree. What do you think, Gabriel?
No, I endorse minimal, light, flexible systems. I couldn't play a game like that. The last time I played D&D was like 3 or 4 years ago on an invitation, and it was a nightmare for me.
Yeah.
I think that people nowadays don't have that much time for spare for a hobby, so everything that requires that things need to be quicker, faster, easier to understand, more flexible, less rigid. But I think that D&D, the problem is that they try to make, in some way, they try to have a captive customer. And they
Yes.
want the customer to depend on their books, depend on their supplements. it's a business strategy. So it wouldn't serve them to make a light rule system and that everybody can do it. And I don't know, it's a different philosophy. Also, they have another goal in their mind. Their goal is to have an Excel sheet that gives a positive number. It's a total different thing. I am not doing what I do for money at all. I started doing it out of passion, and if I can live out of it, much better. Luckily, I am managing, but it's not easy, and you always need to make decisions and decide if you want to stay true to yourself or try to make a profit out of it. Sooner or later, you will face that sort of thing. It happens in all areas of work where passion and money is involved.
I couldn't agree more. Just a quick message. Grazie Khalid, thank you to Khalid for subscribing. And I need to correct something. Per partecipare al giveaway non basta mettere in punto esclamativo giveaway, ma dovete anche cliccare poi sul link oppure fare punto esclamativo ticket, perché altrimenti non entrate nel giveaway. Mi raccomando, perché potete vincere, potete essere estratti per i manuali gratuiti. Quindi mi raccomando, fate punto esclamativo giveaway, anzi ve lo faccio io, però poi dovete anche cliccarci sopra, se no non entrate, perché ho visto tanti che l'hanno scritto ma poi non hanno cliccato. Sorry for interrupting.
It's okay.
May I ask you, Eric? I allow myself to ask another question.
Absolutely, we are here for asking questions. No, absolutely.
What is it right now in the actual scenario? What is your game, role-play game that you like it more to play, except yours, for example? So, what is your favorite?
Whenever I'm asked that question, I don't want to sound like a loser or like an asshole. But the truth is that I am designing so much, and I only have once a week to play games, that I'm always playing my own things. So I'm playing. I sometimes play Neurocity. I sometimes play Warbland. I sometimes play Hellknight. I sometimes play my new setting that will be called Meltdown. I'm also playing another one that is going to be called Starlight. So I have like 5 different settings that I need to play them, because when I play them, I also get more ideas to write, and I'm constantly testing the systems. So the truth is I'm playing only what I do, except on the rare cases when I'm invited on a different table and I can join a morgue board table maybe, or join a mothership table, which those games I like them very much and I enjoy them very much.
This is a very good reply by you, because it's the second time that I heard one thing like this. Recently, we have as guest Mr. Eric Larsen, that is a very worldwide popular illustrator, no, from Image Comics, and it said a very similar things about the comics. And he said, "Okay, I've made illustration for many comics in my life, but now that I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to my comic that is Savage Dragon, I have no more time to read. And more, I can say that I don't want to see something else or something made in the past, because I said, okay, I did it. Stay there." Because I need to take care about my thing right now. And I'm very focused on it.
Yes, I'm very focused on it also. I work also 7 days a week. I work at night. I work when I wake up. I wake up thinking about what I'm doing, and I go to sleep thinking about what I'm doing. And I try to consume the entertainment or whatever I'm consuming. I try to make it in line with what I am developing. So maybe if I'm developing Hellknight, I just focus solely on cinema from that specific for that game, music that is specific for that game, to nurture me in that aspect. So that's what I try to do. It helps me, because if not, it's like you spread up your attention too much, and you start getting more ideas for something else, and it becomes a bit difficult to to handle yourself creatively and functionally and productively in another way. That works. That is what that works for me, at least. Writers have always their own discipline. Some people work. I only write from from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. whatever. I write mostly everything in my cell phone. I don't have that discipline. I'm a mess with that. I have piles of notes also next to my bed. It's like I need to try to have a frame of work that works for me, specifically tailor-made for me, for what I can do.
This is a very, very, very interesting, very, very interesting reply by you. It's incredible that when you have a process of creation of a role play game, of a lore about the games, uh, the works never stops, because sometimes you have the inspiration by, I don't know, something that you see on a television, or just something that you remember in your life, or old movies or something like this. So I think that I'm very fascinated. I appreciate a lot when creators like you uh, describe the process of the invention, of the creation, of the developing. It's something very unique and very precious, in the sense of very important in the sense of the word of role play, because it describes us how to be also a good player when we make the background of our characters, and make a good master when we write something that is not a game, but at the end is an adventure, okay, or just to
Mm-hmm.
create a situation, just to give the right start for a campaign, or just a a one shot. Okay, so it's important even for us to listen how a game is created, because it's
Well,
important for us.
it really demands a lot of work if you are conscious about it. If you are conscious that there is such a big supply of RPGs, and people can choose such a wide array of different games and settings. And for example, you can say science fiction, and you
Mhm.
probably have, I don't know, a million RPGs that deal with science fiction. So you need to really be conscious that what you are doing is proposes something that is actually different and interests you and attracts you. It needs to be attractive to you,
Mhm.
and that really demands a lot of work, because always at first instance it might seem as if everything has been already been done. But if you start working, you can actually propose something that feels fresh. But that requires a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of sleepless nights.
Mhm. It is very interesting, very really interesting. Moreover, okay, now that I'm a little bit curious, so I make another little question.
I have
Uh,
also
uh,
one. I have
oh,
also one.
perfect.
You don't steal my questions.
No, no, I don't steal your question. I hope so. I hope so to not steal your question. Um, Pointed that you have absolutely no time to play games that are not yours, and it's a good thing, because it's continuous process. But about the system that maybe you like more. So D20, D100, double D20, or something else. Do you have more about the classic ones, or the recent? It depends what you prefer more. Do you have something that you prefer a little bit more?
As I said before, I think that the systems end up being like a tool,
Hmm.
and they're very great. They're great tools that they're very good at doing their own thing. They have their own specialty. For example, there is a RPG that it's called Trophy Dark and Trophy Gold.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think there was another trophy, but there's a third one. But that game is fantastic to provide a tragedy as a character, to feel a tragedy, and it's very intuitive, and it's very dynamic, and it's super easy to understand. That's a great system. That's, for me, is a genius system. If I felt that there was a system that could do that could handle my settings better than my own, I would be using that one, because for me as a creator, it does not add so much to propose a new system. It actually hinders it, because most people are not looking forward to learning a new system. So if you said, if I could say, okay, the Hell Knight, and it's with a system of D&D, it might be actually more attractive for the consumer to use that. So when I developed the system, I tried to do something that was tailor-made for the specific experiences that I consider are better for the game. And I used the best parts from each system to make it. For me, Black Hack, the system is great, so I used a lot of Black Hack to do my own system. I also liked a lot about things from Blades in the Dark. If you're familiar, I think that Blades in the Dark had something that was very good. That it's the chance for a complication, regardless of the success or failure of the action. So you can be successful and still have an added complication. And I use that for my own system. So I took bits and pieces from everywhere and do my own Frankenstein thing. It required a lot. It's an evolving work that has been ongoing for almost 4 years. I think that it's very good. I think it works very nicely. I know that many people use it for their own settings. I'm very happy with it. I couldn't be happier with it. But as I said, most systems have their own specialty. They are very good at doing their own thing, and people have their own preference, their own style of playing RPGs. That's also amazing. That's perfect. It enriches the whole community. So for me, it's all good in that aspect.
The sentence about Frankenstein, I will subscribe, and we make a clip about this.
Yes,
send
we
in
need
every
to clip.
possible social
Guys,
in the world.
please clip this part, because it's important.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. Yes, absolutely. Last time I interrupt the live, but we have some technical difficulties. This time very minor with the giveaway. And ragazzi, purtroppo il bot del giveaway non funziona, per quello non si riusciva. Allora la gestiamo in modo molto più semplice. Adesso daremo una parola chiave e i primi 10 che metteranno, che scriveranno qui in chat la parola chiave, si aggiudicheranno il giveaway. Prenderemo atto dalla chat di chi lo scrive, e poi poi attraverso Instagram raccoglieremo appunto i dati in modo tale che possiamo mandarli a Gavriel per mandarvi il PDF. La parola chiave è uno dei giochi di Gavriel, ovvero Warpland. Quindi i primi 10 che scrivono Warpland si porteranno a casa il PDF.
L'uomo ha capito subito.
Sì. Chiave. No, uomo della Madonna, non è chiave la parola chiave.
Chiave.
Chiave is not the keyword. So, sorry for interrupting. And speaking of Warpland, we talk a lot about Hell Knight, but I'd like you to talk also a little bit, if you like, about Warpland. I know that you have you are just printing a new version, hardcover version. Am I right? So
yes, it's going to be like a more deluxe version. It's going hardcover, and the previous version was print on demand, and this one is going to be offset printing, so it should be much nicer. The colors should pop out.
Yeah, I really love the color palette of Warpland. is it's amazing. Also, it's passing right now the poster that you realized, and a cool thing that next week we will have as guest Heimat der Catastrophe, that I think you know quite well.
Yes, yes. Stiopa, he's called Stiopa, right? Well, at least I deal with Stiopa. Somebody called Stiopa from Heimat.
Okay.
Der Catastrophe.
Okay, well, thank you. Before I make a bad situation about their name, I need to.
I think I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yes, we're going to do with Heimat a new Hell Night album as well. The album is already produced. The songs are already done. We just need to publish it.
Okay, it's amazing. And can you just say something about Warpland, because maybe some people in the chat that doesn't know about Warpland, the RPG.
Well, Warpland, it's a bit. Well, we said that the comparison would be, imagine He-Man,
yes,
on a very bad acid trip in Patagonia.
Okay, this is an amazing definition. He-Man on a very bad acid trip in Patagonia. Yes.
Yes, something like that. It has some small things from Argentina. The people drink mate, for example, and the animals. There are a lot of South American animals, but it's a very interesting setting. One of the main themes of the setting is the obscurantism, because the world it's like a post-apocalyptic world. The previous civilization caused something that destroyed the essence of light. So basically, there is no sun in Warpland. There is only like an ether energy that fluctuates, and that energy sometimes creates storms that mutate the landscape and the people. So there are a lot of mutations, and there are a lot of ruined cities where there is like forbidden technology, and there is like a religion that forbids the practice of using that ancient technology and of reading and writing and of studying history, because the religion states that because of those sins, of those scientific sins, we destroy the world. So we don't want the world to be destroyed again. So science and technology is forbidden. So that's a very interesting thing. I think that the setting is super awesome to play. We played about 40 sessions.
Oh, it's a very
long. Yeah, it's has a lot of depth. It's an amazing setting. I love it very much. I'm looking forward to do an expansion on it, probably at the end of the year.
A lot of that, like it should be for a game like this, I think.
Yes, it's I love it. That setting is it's amazing. I'm very honored that well, the poster from Warpland shows art from an artist, a very traditional artist called Bruce Pennington.
I know, I know.
And I am honored that Bruce
is passing by again now in the graphic, and it's amazing. I really love it.
I had to talk with Bruce and explain what Warpland was about and the effect that his work made on me. That particular piece was very important for me since my childhood, because I had a book with that piece, with that cover art. So I really begged him if I could use that art, and he accepted. He's a great guy. So for me to have a piece, an art piece from Bruce Pennington, the person that made the original Dune covers, it's something incredible. It's a dream come true for me.
I hope that you in the future make a very big version of this, like a poster version, a very big poster of this Warpland banner, because I really love it.
You can get the poster for $1 in Drive-Thru RPG. It's you can get it.
Yeah, but it's a digital file, so I can print it in a big.
No, you can buy the poster, and they will Drive-Thru RPG will ship you the poster.
Oh, amazing!
For just $1 is the cost.
Oh, it's really. I'll definitely do it. And also, we spoke before about our next guest, and the product that you made with them, it's amazing because it's audio tape that contains music, very immersive dungeon synth music, and also contains an adventure, if I remember correctly.
Yes. The album comes with an adventure written by my editor Walton Wood, and yes, the songs, it features a collaboration from various artists. I like the dungeon synth genre very much.
I love dungeon synth.
Yes. So I approached a few musicians and asked them if they would like to participate in that project. There will be nothing for me in the album, so we will share, I know, the whatever little profit there is about it. There was pretty much nothing really. But we received a tape, each of us, so it was, and it also worked as advertising for us, for all of us.
Amazing. So now, if there is any questions in the chat, now is the time. You have the chance to ask something to Gavriel directly. So you must not waste this chance because now he is here. So I'll tell you also in Italian. Ragazzi, se volete fare delle domande a Gavriel, non sprecate questa occasione perché ora è qui in chat con noi e viceversa non ci sarà in altre occasioni, quindi se avete domande per Gavriel, se no continuiamo con le nostre in maniera molto egoista e facciamo noi le nostre.
Il molto egoista alza la mano.
Alzi la mano. Intanto, mentre vediamo se gli altri vogliono fare domande, fai pure tu una domanda.
My question is about the music. The music is one important matter that invade very directly the world of tabletop RPGs, probably due to the lockdowns all over the world for the pandemic, and there are more. As I can say, there are more instruments online to play these games, so the music became something to overcome the missing present face by face, no? But what you did is something that come from earlier. So you did earlier than the lockdown. So you just anticipated this thing just to let the game become immersive, no? In all senses. So hearing, seeing, feeling everything. So your game is a total game, we can say. I can say, I suppose that is in this way, and I see in this way. So you anticipated probably what comes just 1 years ago, or a couple of years ago, or 3 years ago, not so many years ago. So do you feel yourself as an innovator in this world? Do you feel that something that you created as first, probably as original one, now it's so common, and say, okay, everybody makes music for the tabletop RPGs? Yes, but I did as first one.
No, there wouldn't be any merit for me to say that, and I don't think that's probably the case anyway. I think that in the end, it's like a community that feeds each other with information, and we are constantly inspiring ourselves. I see a lot of back and forth between creators. Sometimes I see something that I like from a creator, and I take it and I transform it myself. I see many things that creators sometimes use from what I do, and I sometimes I write, oh, you took this, you like this. Yes, I took, for example, Mordborg recently published, I think that about 4 or 5 months ago, a text-only version that was without art. And more to that idea, Johan took that idea from something I did with Hell Knight, because Hell Knight started having a lot of complaints when I started with the Kickstarter that it's going to be very difficult to be read. I said, okay, no problem. I'm going to launch a PDF that's going to be text only. I had that idea with my editor. And then the guys from Morbor took it and they used it for themselves, and that's perfect. I think that's the way that healthy art community should work. I always say that, for example, I like the no wave scene from New York in the 80s, and there was a very recurring phrase from that scene that said, everybody here has a band. And because it was like people were musicians going to see another musicians play, and that is exactly the way that an art movement works. Everyone is passionate about it, and everyone feeds each other from their ideas, and there is a constant exchange and flow of ideas that is fresh, and it keeps moving things forward. So I think that speaks very highly of this historic moment of time in RPGs.
This is a very good reply. Very good reply, because it means that you work all together and you feel yourself as a part of this wave that is going on, that comes from the past and goes straight for the future.
Yes, definitely. Yes, I love it. The community is great. It's amazing. Everybody is super nice. Everybody is healthy people. I don't know. For me, it couldn't be better. At least that's my stand on what is the RPG community. Maybe I'm speaking mostly about the OSR independent movement, but I have a very high regards of all the creators and all the people involved, and people like you guys that are doing something out of passion and showing and trying to promote other creators' work. That's also amazing, incredible. You are a big part of the community, and you are also promoting things and feeding energy to all this.
And that's amazing. Thank you for saying this. And I think there's time just for another question. There is a very nice question from Uomo della Madonna that asks you, how are you doing?
How am I doing?
Yes.
¿Cómo estás?
Estoy bien. I am doing great. I am slowly becoming accustomed to being a father. I have a 6-month-old baby girl. She's amazing. I love her very much. And I'm very anxious about the books coming out from the printer and going to Exalted Funeral. I want everything to be just right, and I want this whole thing to get over. I think that it's stretched too much over time, but many things happened that were out of my hand. To be honest, the industry exploded and costs skyrocketed like 100%, paper costs specifically.
Yeah.
So it was a nightmare for me, but I'm pretty confident that it will be over, and I'm anxious to jump to my next thing. My next thing will be a reedition of Neurosity.
Okay,
that was my first work, and I did not have an editor in those days. So the system has been polished a lot. This was about 3 years ago. So I'm looking forward to launching that version that will be called Colorblind. And after that version, yes, and after that, there will be also a hardback version, limited version. And after that, I'm going to launch a setting called Meltdown. That will be like a post-apocalyptic Far West with some hints of Far West and some hints of biopunk. It's going to be like a mixture of genres that we are playing this tonight. We have been playing it for a month or so. We love it. It's wonderful.
You already have my pledge. You
Yes, it's
already
going
have
to
my
be
pledge.
awesome.
I can say honestly that probably your list of games is the one where I don't find one that I dislike.
Yeah, me
There's
too.
no. I love them all because in
Great.
each games there is one topic that tells me I want to play it.
Yes, well, that's it. I can only do something that I always say. If I find it so appealing, it must be because there must be other people that find it appealing. But there is always that question mark, no? But when I started working with Helllight, I started showing it off, and everyone was like, "This is a bit weird. I'm not sure it will. People will understand it or like it." And it ended up being maybe more easily to connect with than my previous works, but sometimes there is that question mark.
So it was amazing. I would like to talk with you all the night, but we all you have a daughter. Is a daughter or son? I don't remember.
A daughter.
A daughter. You have a daughter.
5 months.
And
Yes.
so it was really a pleasure. I'll say just
Absolutely.
we have almost we have just a few five manual to give, so abbiamo solo più 5 manuali disponibili, quindi i prossimi 5 che scriveranno non la parola chiave, cioè la parola chiave, ma la parola Warpland in chat riceveranno un manuale da Gavriel, quindi per chi è arrivato dopo, di nuovo uomo della Madonna scrive chiave.
Glielo regaliamo sulla fiducia, dai.
Sì, no, uomo della Madonna con chiave. Per chi è arrivato dopo, scrivendo Warpland avrete il manuale, ne abbiamo solo più 5 li abbiamo già regalati, così in chiusura per chi volesse ancora giudicarselo, visto che era passato Maraichux, ho visto che sono passati altri, che ringraziamo anche per essere passati. E then we must no, non puoi scrivere uomo della Madonna, Maraichux. We have very crazy people.
I like it. Yes, well, that's what I like about the community. Is everyone is a bit crazy.
And thanks you again for your generosity to our community and for being here tonight. I hope you can return in the future when you will have more items to show us and more games. And it was absolutely a real pleasure to have you here.
Siempre bienvenido.
Gracias. Thank you also. It was also a pleasure for me, guys. And again, I value a lot what you're doing. I think that is great.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you very much.
So
very appreciated.
We are now closing, and we can just close and say again thank you to Gavriel and to everybody that came here this evening, and I think that's it.
Thank you.
Buona serata a tutti, grazie di essere passati, vi diamo appuntamento alla prossima settimana. Grazie ancora Gavriel, grazie Ubibol.
Grazie a te.